Retire Smart Maryland. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Prashant Sabapathy and Nick Interbickler of Elite Income Advisors. And to our viewers at home, do you like doing puzzles? Everyone has like a puzzle they enjoy doing. And I know you always start with the corners and then you fill in all the other pieces until you get this beautiful, beautiful portrait. Well, today we're going to talk about how retirement planning is kind of like a puzzle and how you have to have all the pieces fit together to have a successful retirement. Prashant, how are you today?
I'm doing excellent. Looking forward to this one today.
Me too, because puzzles are fun.
Yeah.
Nick, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you?
Fantastic. Thank you so much for asking. And I love the fact that we're talking about retirement planning in the concept of a puzzle, because it does make sense. So some of the pieces and parts, Prashant, the first piece of the puzzle would be having financial goals.
We've said this for years. You have to plan with the end in mind, right? So the very first thing you want to do when you start your retirement planning process is to kind of figure out what you'd like your life to look like. We always talk about what is going to make your life as fulfilling as possible. And to us, that starts with identifying a monthly income target. So list out all your expenses, all the wants, all the needs, and let's start to figure out what kind of income you're going to need to make your life as fulfilling as possible in retirement. Once we have that target income, we can design a plan to get you from point A to point Z. And the benefit of working with a fiduciary who's going to evaluate your entire situation is that if we can't get you from point A to point Z, maybe we can get you as close as we can to that final goal, and hopefully that will still be okay. But unless we have something to plan for, it's really difficult to actually start planning. So that's a great place to start, identifying your financial goals. And that typically starts with understanding what kind of retirement income you're going to need in today's dollars after taxes to make your retirement lifestyle as fulfilling as possible.
And that's including things like travel, pursuing hobbies,
Absolutely.
Things like that to make
you want
your
to break
retirement.
it down really into wants and needs.
Yeah.
But the way we look at it is, look, I think that the wants are needs in retirement.
Yes.
I mean, you didn't work 30 or 40 years to then have to sacrifice the quality of lifestyle. We're all about living the most fulfilling retirement possible. And so build all of the wants and needs into that monthly income target. So that's a great starting place for designing your retirement plan.
All right, so that's our first corner right at the top of that puzzle. Nick, the next one, what about income sources?
Yeah, so we talk about every day in our office, money in versus money out. We don't think that retirement comes down to anything different than when you're working. Obviously, when you're working, you and your spouse have some sort of salary coming in. You might have rental income. We know we are going to have some money coming in retirement, but it's harder to identify. So if you have a pension, Social Security, 401ks, rental properties, all those different things, it's good to quantify those. And as Prashant just said on the first question, is figuring out what your expenses are, because you want to marry those two things up. You can't have one without the other, right? Most people have some sort of expense in retirement, but having your income sources work in concert together to make sure that they are going to help you, as Prashant said, have that most fulfilling retirement. Very
Perfect.
important. Yeah.
Absolutely. Prashant, the next one, savings and investments, big piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, this goes hand in hand with the income source piece of it, right? Because when we look at your income sources, we always break income down into two categories. What I would call foundational income, which is reliable income that you can always depend on regardless of what's going on in the world or in the stock market. So that's what we call our foundational income. And then you have your kind of fluctuating income, which is generated from your market-based investments, such as a 401k, an IRA, a non-IRA brokerage account. So when we break this down, it's really important to make that distinction. We want to say, look, if you need $6,000 a month coming in, and that is going to give you the most fulfilling quality of lifestyle, you want to allocate a piece of your portfolio to something that is going to provide you that stream of income to supplement your pension, supplement your Social Security to make sure that you're going to be at that income target. And then all of your other money, let's start to allocate it into maybe lower, moderate, or even higher risk vehicles to help you grow your money and offset inflation along the way. And we can go into some case study examples of how we've been able to help clients with that. But I think we have to start thinking about things in terms of having unique buckets of money: income bucket, risk bucket. Put them together. That's what allows you to have those income sources that you really need when you get to retirement.
And one additional thing that you want, that other income, you want it to be reliable, right?
Yes.
Because you talked about investments and, you know, your dividends get paid out, but sometimes your dividends change. Sometimes companies cut their dividends. So that's not always going to be reliable at the same level that you've anticipated over the years. So you want to make sure you have more reliable sources to accompany your pensions and Social Security.
So like, what's an example of reliable income, right? Because I think a lot of people who are used to receiving dividends or receiving rental income look at that as reliable. Well, it's reliable until it's not, right?
Until it's not,
And so I think what we have to do is we have to understand what reliable actually means, right? To us, reliable means with 100% certainty, I know that my paycheck is going to be there for me in my bank account on the 15th of every month, every single month for the rest of my lifetime. And one of the ways we've been able to do this is through the use of things like annuities. And I know annuity is kind of a very polarizing word in the industry, but I'll tell you what, we love some of these annuities. Now, not all annuities are good for every single person out there, but there's these newer types of annuities that have started to become really popular in the last 10 or 15 years. And it's called the fixed indexed annuity. And what it's designed to do is give you 100% principal protection. So if the market goes down, you cannot lose a single penny of your money, which is fantastic. But furthermore, it's actually going to give you an income for the rest of your lifetime. If you don't have a pension, you have to create your own income. And so you can take your money from your 401k, your IRA, your thrift savings plan, and you can turn that from a company asset to a family asset where you own it, and now you can get a pension that's privatized, that you've self-created every month, every year for the rest of your lifetime. It gives you what we call income security. Very powerful stuff.
Absolutely it is. I'm so glad that we're talking about that, because I know the viewers are like leaning in at this point saying that sounds amazing. Nick, this next one, I'm going to change the word because I'm not a fan of the word budgeting. So we're going to change that, viewers, to spending plan and expense management. We're taking out the budget word.
Yeah, so we've talked about travel in the past, and I find that our clients in particular, they take amazing trips, whether it's a river cruise through Europe or, I mean, we have a couple clients have taken some really exotic trips to Iran and China and places that I would never think that people would go, you know, and they're amazing trips when they come back. They rave about them, but they tell me how long they spend on that. When we talk about that B word that you just mentioned, it's not fun, right? It's not an exciting thing, but in order to know where you want to be, just like driving down the road, if you don't have a GPS in your car, we used to look at maps and figure out where we were going to go, but a budget is a very important part of knowing what retirement is going to look like. And, you know, a lot of us just get our paycheck every week. We know that we can pay the bills, but when it's not reliable in retirement and we don't have a plan, that's what we preach every single weekend on the show is we need to have a plan to make sure that we have the income, reliable income for our most fulfilling retirement.
And if you strip your financial life down to its simplest form, I think we can all probably appreciate this, is that while you're working, your financial life really just is a function of what we call money in and money out, right? Your paycheck comes in, your expenses go out, and you do your very best to save as much money as you possibly can so that you can retire one day. But when you get to retirement, that concept, it doesn't change. It's still very much so about money in and money out. But what changes is where the money in comes from. If it's not coming from your paycheck in retirement, it has to come from somewhere else, whether it's Social Security, pension, or most likely your retirement savings, your 401k, your IRA, your thrift savings plan. So folks, if you don't have a plan for where your money in, where your retirement paycheck is going to come from, pick up the phone, dial this phone number. It's 833-308-5200. When you dial that number, our operators will be standing by and you'll have your calendar right there in front of you. You'll be able to schedule a free, that's totally free, complimentary appointment with our team at Elite Income Advisors. You come on in to visit with us. You are not agreeing to do business with us. You're not agreeing to become a client, and there is no obligation. But what you are agreeing to is taking an hour of your time to sit down and have an in-depth conversation about what your monthly income target needs to look like and how you create the money in that is necessary to fulfill your retirement lifestyle. It all starts with this phone call. Come visit us at our headquarters in Ellicott City. The appointment booking slots go pretty quickly here. We do have some availability over the next couple weeks. 833-308-5200. You can also pull out your smartphone, scan the QR code that you see here at the bottom corner of your screen. You'll be able to book an appointment online as well.
Prashant, thank you so much. And Nick, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, that phone number is on your screen, 833-308-5200. We're putting together the pieces of your retirement puzzle. You deserve to have that complimentary consultation. Call in to 833-308-5200. We're going to take a very short commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We have more pieces to fill in for your retirement puzzle. Stay tuned.
Having a true written financial plan provides peace of mind in a way that nothing else really can.
In our job, we want to make sure that we give it to our clients the guaranteed income stream for the rest of their lives, so they don't have to worry about what's going to happen.
As a specialist in distribution, we're helping people make sure that their money is going to last for the rest of their lifetime so that they never run out of income, and minimize that tax consequence along the way, and then help transfer that to their heirs in the most tax efficient way.
I think the most important to me in the financial planning is first of all, you need to understand what the client wants. It's all about the client.
So much of what we do at Elite Income Advisors surrounds helping people understand exactly where their paycheck is going to come from, how much it's going to be, and making sure that, most importantly, that it increases through their retirement.
Welcome back to Retire Smart Maryland. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Prashant Sabapathy and Nick Interbickler of Elite Income Advisors, and we're talking all about the pieces that fit into a well-crafted retirement puzzle. So the next one on the list, Prashant, this is a big one, healthcare and insurance. Piece of the puzzle right there.
It's arguably the biggest piece of the puzzle. I would argue just as important as coordinating where your paycheck is going to come from. You have to understand what your healthcare coverage is going to look like. And unfortunately, what we've seen is that there's this huge misconception, in my opinion, out there that says that when I get to the age of 65 years old and I transition onto the government's healthcare program, Medicare, when I turn 65, the cost of healthcare goes down and my healthcare selections become a heck of a lot easier. I would argue that it is the exact opposite. Did you know that Medicare Part B, and I'm talking about original Medicare Part B, which covers your outpatient expenses, Medicare approved expenses, you pay a premium for that, folks. A lot of people don't know this. You pay a premium that is based on your income from 2 years prior. And so if you were working when you were 63 and now you're retired at 65, they're going to be looking back at your income from while you were working to determine what your cost of Medicare Part B is.
Wow.
And that could be a huge issue. We've seen Medicare premiums double or even triple for some people, depending on what their work status was relative to when they actually started going onto the Medicare program. So don't fall into this common retirement trap of just thinking that the cost of my health care will go down and my selection of health care will become easier when I get to retirement. In fact, what we're finding is that you have to kind of put the puzzle pieces together just on the healthcare side of it as a part of the overall bigger picture. By the way, when you start paying more for Medicare because they charge you more based on your income, they don't give you better insurance for paying more, right? You're just paying more because the government has determined that you can afford it, which drives me crazy. You got to be able to have that real health care and insurance plan in place.
And one other point about that is when you retire, as you just explained, it's backward looking. And as you get into retirement, when you reach a certain milestone, 73 years old, and you have to start taking distributions from your retirement accounts, your premium can go up again.
Wow.
So you might have a high premium in the beginning, it'll drop down, and then it becomes higher again as you get older.
And who does this
Oh my
affect?
gosh.
I mean, if you think about it, what we're talking about is not going to affect every person out there, right? But if you were a high income earner, if you had saved a bunch of money, you did the right thing for decades, you put money away into your 401k, your IRA, your thrift savings plan, all that money that you saved, it was pre-tax money. You made an agreement with the IRS that you would take the tax deduction up front so that you would pay taxes on it later. The problem is, if you did a great job accumulating, and some people that come in to visit with us, they have $2 or $3 million saved in their 401k. That is a tax time bomb that is ticking. I know we're going to talk about that next, but you have to be prepared for that because it could increase significantly the cost of your healthcare expenses.
Wow, I am so glad that we pulled back the curtain on that today because I think a lot of viewers are hearing this for the very first time. Nick, this next one, tax planning, that's another big piece of the retirement puzzle. Talk about why.
So as Prashant just said, if you've done the right thing over your working career, and we've all been conditioned that with pensions going away, it's on us to save more money into our 401ks and our IRAs or our thrift savings plan, whatever our employer provides. And unfortunately, as you said, we have a deadline on how long we can defer the tax deferment on that. And eventually, we're going to have to start taking money out. So what a lot of our clients, when they get to this age of 73, and you have to take required minimum distributions, I would say overwhelmingly, our clients tend to say, I don't really need that money, but I've got to pay taxes on it. So thinking forward and saying either while I'm still working, maybe contributing more to Roth 401k or Roth IRA, or even while taxes are on sale, as we've talked about in previous weeks, converting some of those traditional retirement balances to Roth IRAs would be huge. And if you have less of your income that's taxable in retirement, I mean, we always talk about in our classes that the best tax bracket to be in is the 0% tax bracket. It's kind of a challenge to get there. But if you have more Roth IRAs or Roth 401ks in your plan, then you won't run into the higher Medicare expenses. You won't potentially go into a higher tax bracket. So thinking forward is an important thing.
I love that Ed Slott quote that we talked about on a previous show, is that the IRA is an IOU to the IRS, right? And that's what it is. And the way we look at it is you're in a partnership. Whether we like it or not, you are in a partnership with the IRS. And the issue is that the IRS is the majority partner. They make all the rules. So you don't have control over what tax policy looks like. What you do have control over is how you navigate through that tax policy to put yourself in the very best, most efficient, lowest tax environment that you can be in. And a lot of people don't know that you can actually take proactive steps to reduce that future tax bracket by doing things like Roth conversions. The issue, though, is that the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that we're operating under expires. It expires at the end of 2025, and at beginning January 1, 2026, we think tax rates are likely to go up unless there's an extension of our current tax code. So we have a limited window of time here. You want to do proactive planning before the tax cuts expire. If your advisor is not talking to you about how to maximize your net income through reducing your future taxes, you need to give us a call. The phone number is 833-308-5200. That's 833-308-5200. When you dial that phone number, you will be able to schedule a free consultation with our team at Elite Income Advisors. Now, when you come in to visit, it's just a conversation about your situation. We're going to talk about all of your sources of income. We'll talk about how to optimize your Social Security benefits to make sure that it's working for you in the best possible way. We'll do a risk analysis of your retirement portfolio. Make sure that, heaven forbid, the market take a massive downturn, that you're still going to be able to retire on your terms with your flexibility without having to worry about the threat of running out of money. Cynthia, on the other side of the break, can we just talk about the tax calculator tool that we have? I'd love to just spend a couple minutes on that. But why don't we get to the break, I think, and let's dial the phone number 833-308-5200.
To our viewers at home, that number to call, 833-308-5200. This is all about your retirement planning puzzle. And as you can see, these pieces and parts are all huge components for your retirement success. You deserve to take advantage of this complimentary consultation, 833-308-5200. We're going to take a very short commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We're going to talk about the tax calculator when we return.
The work never seems to end until the day it finally does. After nearly a lifetime on the job, you should be rewarded for all the time you spent working. Whether that's crossing off items on your bucket list, learning a new passion, or rekindling the love of an old one. After all, life isn't over when you stop working. It's the start of an all-new chapter. The one where you're the writer and you get to choose how your story will go. A way to achieve that is by having a clear financial plan to sustain your golden years. The biggest fear most retirees have is if they'll have enough money to maintain the lifestyle they've always enjoyed. Having a plan to help protect you against the curveballs life often throws will help to maintain your lifestyle. Call today to get your free written financial plan so you may live every day to the fullest and enjoy the retirement of your dreams.
Welcome back to Retire Smart Maryland. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Prashant Sabapathy and Nick Interbickler of Elite Income Advisors, and we're talking about building your retirement puzzle. We tapped into taxes. Let's kind of go into it a little bit further. Let's talk about the tax calculator.
Yeah, this is a really neat tool that we've kind of put out there. There's a website that we've set up. It's really easy to use. It's called testmytaxbill.com. You'll see it at the bottom of your screen here. Testmytaxbill.com. When you visit this website, you'll enter in some very basic information and you'll be able to calculate what your projected tax liability may be on your IRAs, your 401ks, your pre-tax retirement accounts. And that tax calculator is really going to break it down into a couple different things. Number one, when you get to the age of the required minimum distribution, it would be between the age of 70 and a half all the way up to 75 years old for some folks. It'll show you what the projected tax liability will be based on your IRA balance. The second thing is it'll walk you through anticipated taxes that are owed when you pass that money along to your heirs. It's a really neat report. It's totally free. All you have to do is visit the website. It's testmytaxbill.com. Once you fill that out, you'll also be able to sit down with one of our team. No obligation to do that. If you just want the report, go check it out. But you'll always have the opportunity to sit down with one of our specialists and really talk about how taxes are going to impact your retirement and also your legacy, which I guess is a pretty good transition because I think we want to talk about estate planning.
Yes, we do. Thank you, Prashant. Nick, let's talk about that other piece of the puzzle, estate planning.
So, yeah, I think that's a very maybe often overlooked part of all of this. And it can be as simple as making sure that your beneficiary designations, whether it's on your life insurance policy, your IRA, your 401k, that they are all up to date.
Yep.
And that they're going to the people that you want to get them. I mean, we've had scenarios in the past where husband and wife, husband passes away and a life insurance policy has an ex-wife listed instead of the current wife. So auditing these things on a regular basis. And as far as the bigger estate planning picture, do you need a trust? Do you need a will? I don't know that everybody necessarily needs a trust or will. We have partners that we can refer our clients to that will talk to them about that. But I think making everything as simple as possible for the people that come behind us, our children typically, or our grandchildren, making sure that there's a definitive plan in place for our house, making sure that our bank accounts don't go through probate. So auditing those things, revising them, and as simple as just putting a payment on death on a bank account or a transfer on death on an investment account. But most IRAs, 401ks will allow you to put a beneficiary, and it's important to just regularly check in and make sure these things are accurate.
And by the way, you should have this at your fingertips. Like one of the things that we do, if you choose to work with us, if you think that we're a good fit for you, and if we think that you're a good fit for us, one of the things that we're going to put together for you is what's called a personal financial inventory binder. Okay, so this binder, is big on simplicity. I'm a big believer that you should be able to look at just one sheet of paper and know what your net worth is on any given day. I think you should be able to look at one sheet of paper and know who your beneficiaries are on every single one of your accounts. That's something that we prepare for our clients, and it goes right into your personal financial inventory binder. That way, when something happens to you, your heirs know, just pick up this binder. You'll have everything that you need to see in order to make the estate planning process as seamless as it possibly can be. It's all about simplicity when we get to retirement.
And we've started working more with our clients' children, which I enjoy. I like to meet them during better times, right? I hate to go to, unfortunately get a call that a client's passed away and have to go to their funeral and meet their children. But, when they know us ahead of time, one, they're comfortable with us. They know that we're taking good care of mom and dad. And if something were to happen, they know we're one of the first people that they typically will call.
And that's so important, because during such a painful time emotionally, it just brings comfort knowing where everything is financially.
That's right.
Prashant, this next one really quickly, longevity and risk management, the piece of the puzzle before we close.
We're in an interesting time right now where you could spend more time in retirement than you actually spent working. If you think about that, that is bizarre, right? We do a lot of work with Anne Arundel County firefighters. We do a lot of work with Baltimore City Police. And I remember it must have been 4 or 5 years ago, I helped an Anne Arundel County firefighter retire, and he was just 48 years old when he retired. They get into the service early. They put in their time. They get a pension. They get a deferred compensation plan. They get a drop program, which is kind of like our version of the 401k. But if that guy lives to be 90 years old, he will spend more time in retirement than he ever did working.
Wow.
But that's great for him because he has a pension. He has guaranteed income that if he never works another day, he has a paycheck coming in. But for the rest of us who don't have that pension, the question is, where is your retirement paycheck going to come from, especially if you're going to live to be 90 or 95 years old? How do you ensure that you will not run out of money, but more importantly, that you will not run out of income? These are the questions that need to be answered in order for you to have a fulfilling retirement. We're going to help you get there. We'll do our part, but you have to do yours. And you can do that right now by picking up the phone, giving us a call. It's 833-308-5200. It's your last opportunity for today's program to book that free appointment with our team of specialists at Elite Income Advisors. Come into the office, headquarters in Ellicott City, big, beautiful office for you to see your plan in living color. It's 833-308-5200. Added bonus, anybody who books that appointment, you can ask for a complimentary copy of my book, Fiscal Health, Retirement Wealth.
Gentlemen, thank you so much to our viewers at home. Thank you for spending time with us today on Retire Smart Maryland. Be safe, be happy, and be blessed.